Hello folks, welcome to my channel Java Demystified by SSR. Here comes the question number 21. What is polymorphism in Java? Let's demystify this question. Polymorphism. Poly means many, morphing means changes, many changes. The ability to take more than one form is polymorphism. This is one of the principles of object oriented programming. The ability to take more than one form. So here, what actually will take more than one form, that we need to understand. That means the implementation unit of polymorphism in Java. So in Java, methods are the implementation units for polymorphism. That means methods will take more than one form. If you observe inheritance, the implementation units are classes and interfaces. Inheritance happens among classes and among interfaces. In the same fashion, polymorphism is exhibited with the help of methods only. Whereas in C++, because C++ is also an object-oriented programming, there also polymorphism is available, and polymorphism is exhibited with the help of methods as well as operators. We have method overloading and operator overloading is also there in C++. But in Java, we have just methods will exhibit the polymorphism. Okay, so in two ways, methods will exhibit the polymorphism. The first way is method overloading, which actually leads to static polymorphism, and the second is method overriding, and this may lead to runtime polymorphism. Let's understand the details. First, to start with method overloading. What is method overloading? In a class having n number of methods with the same name but with different arguments, having many methods with the same name but with the different parameters. That means what? A method name is used in n number of ways or many ways, but the method actually takes the arguments differently. So one method will take 2 arguments, other method will take 3 arguments, and the types are different or order is different, but the method name is same. So this actually is method overloading. This happen actually within a class. And method overloading is possible as long as the following are different. That means in a method, as an example, let me annotate this. As an example, I have a method called sum method. Okay, and this sum method is taking no arguments there, and this sum method actually taking, let's say, int a 1 argument, and I have another sum method which actually take 2 arguments, int a comma int b. That means 2 integers it is taking, for example, and I have other sum method which is actually taking double values d comma d. Okay, so that means in a class you can actually have these many sum methods, and the first sum method has no argument, second sum method has 1 argument, and the third sum method has 2 integer arguments, and fourth one is actually having 2 arguments but they are double parameters. Okay, so having many methods with the same name but the parameters are different. So method overloading is possible as long as the number of arguments are different. The name can be same, but the number of arguments should be different. So here, if you see the first three, the number of arguments are different, and the types of arguments are different. Number of arguments may be same, like sum of int comma int, but the type is different. Then method overloading is possible. So sum of double and double. Two arguments here, two arguments here, but the types are different, so still method overloading is possible. And order and type of the argument is different. For example, here I have a sum method which actually take int a and double b. So this is one sum method, and I can have a sum method again with the two parameters, but it is some double a comma int b. If you see in general, sum method, these two sum methods, they are actually taking two arguments which are one integer and one double. But the order is also important. So here int comes first and then double. Here double comes first and int comes. So these two are considered to be a separate methods. This is one method and this is the other method. So this is actually overloading. The same method name, right? We are using with n number of ways. So that means what? We are actually overloading this particular method called sum. So this is what method overloading. This will happen within a class, and whenever method overloading happens, static polymorphism will happen. That means the binding of which is actually the binding of this method to the method call. This is method definition, and we have method calls actually. So that is actually binding. Okay, the process of linking the method code with the method call is actually binding. So this binding will happen at the compile time for overloading. So that's why we say static polymorphism. Whereas in the other case, whenever you have method overriding, that time dynamic binding will happen. So whenever it is leading to runtime polymorphism, dynamic binding will happen. That means compiler will not bind method code with the method call, rather JVM, because we are speaking of Java, JVM will actually bind method code with method call. So that will happen with the method overriding whenever it is leading to runtime polymorphism. So for method overloading, because it happens within a class and compiler can able to bind properly, so that's why it is static polymorphism. And when method overloading will happen? Method overloading will happen as long as the number of arguments, the type of arguments, and the order and the type of arguments are different for a same named method. Okay, and few more things actually, few more points. Method overloading will not happen with the return types. Okay, so for example, here I have int sum. That means the sum method is returning me integer, and I have some other method called sum method which actually returning void. Okay, so some with no arguments and some with no arguments, but their return types are different actually. So now the question is, can overloading will happen? We say no. Okay, we say no. The reason is method overloading is possible only when the number of arguments are different, or the types of arguments are different, or order and type of the arguments are different, but not with the return types. The reason is whenever you call a sum method, this sum method you have to call, for example, on an object. Let's say my object is, let's say, a1. So a1 dot sum. Okay, and I'm calling like that. So this method I want to call. So this method also I'm calling on a1. So I also has to say now a1 dot sum only, right? So now both are same, a1 dot sum and a1 dot sum. So you cannot have this kind of thing actually, right? Because whenever you are calling this sum method, we are not specifying the return type. We are actually specifying. We can actually specify. There is a possibility to specify the arguments. Okay, for example, I am calling this method. I can say a1 dot sum of some 10, that is integer is some 10. So we can actually specify the arguments here. Of course, here I am not specifying. Okay, so with these things which I am specifying, I can actually differentiate the method, but not with the return types, because in a method call we never bother about the return types. So that's why method overloading is not possible with return types. So if at all you write these two statements compiler will give you error. Okay, because it considers it is some method, this is some method, and arguments are nil here and nil here, so this is a duplication. That means it results into ambiguity. So you will get actually an error stating ambiguous method definition, something like that. You will get the compile time error. And one more thing actually, um, can main method be overloaded? Can main method be overloaded? Which main method we are speaking of? We are speaking of the main method which is actually required for JVM to execute your application. So that is public static void main. So can this method be overloaded? If overloaded, how, and if not, how? So that we have to understand. So this is my main method. Okay, so public static void main string args. Can this be overloaded? Yes or no? Yes, definitely we can overload. See, as long as the parameters are different, method overloading is possible. So here this main method actually takes a string array as a parameter, right? So now I can have a main method. I can have a main method, public static void main. I can have some main method which takes some integer value. I can have another main method which takes some string variable, otherwise two strings, otherwise here some two integers, three integers, double values, boolean values. You can have n number of main methods. Okay, but the main method which is required for the JVM is public static void main string array args. Even though you are writing some 10 main methods with int a, double, boolean, etc. and etc., JVM actually checks for the main method which is public static void main string array args, and program execution starts from this. Okay, so main method can be overloaded, there is no issue at all. Okay, so before going to method overriding, so let us go to a program and understand the things. Okay, yeah, let me clear all these drawings and go to a program. So I have a program actually written to explain. Yeah, so that is I have a test.java. Yeah, so here class test, normal class test, which is an executable class. So I have a main method as well. So here if you see, I have actually a method actually called sum method. I have a sum method void sum, which takes int a, int b as parameters, and I am actually finding the sum of these two values, right? And I am printing this. So this is one method actually, that is sum. Okay, so sum method actually taking two parameters. Now if I come here, I have one more sum method. I have one more sum method with no parameters. Here actually I have two parameters, right? So here no parameters, but the method name is same. So this is actually method overloading. So in a class, okay, so a method name is repeated. So multiple methods with the same name, then it is method overloading. Okay, it is possible as long as the number of arguments are different, types are different, and order is also different. So here no arguments, here two arguments. This is possible. I am just printing here some value. So now if you see void sum intex, so this is also a sum method. Again method overloading is happening, and only one parameter actually is taken to this. Okay, yeah, so there is a method overloading. There are three methods. Of course we'll have one method, that is special method given by the compiler, that is test constructor. Yeah, when we come to the main method actually here, yeah, when you are calling test t1 equal to new test, t1 dot sum equals to two parameters. So now which sum method will be called? This sum method will be called because it is matching with the parameters that we have passed. When we call t1 dot sum, this sum is called because we are not passing any arguments. So when t1 dot sum of some value was called, so this sum method will be called because it takes only one argument, and that is integers, and integer is supplied. Okay, so this binding actually, so this is the method call. So this is the method call, and these are all the definitions. So method code or definition to method call, the binding actually will happen at the compile time. this case. Okay, so that's why we say it is static polymorphism or compile time polymorphism, and that binding that happens is compile time binding. Okay, so this is about method overloading. Let me save this and run. Actually, we'll see whether it is working properly or not. So let me actually open up my terminal. Yeah, so I have the terminal open. So all my programs are in desktop, so I am going to desktop. Yeah, so now this program is test.java, right? So let me compile this. So java c test.java compiled successfully, there is no problem, and we say java test, java space test. Actually now we have the values that are printed. Actually, yeah, here we are printing actually sum, that is two values I am passing, 1 2 3 3 2 1. So sum is 444, and here 1 2 3 plus 3 2 1, the sum is 444 again. So here int s equal to x plus some value, but I am not printing it, right? So let me print this s value as well. So now command C, then actually here I have to print this s value. Okay, so now let me again compile. Yeah, so it is working fine, but only thing is in third method I don't have any print statement. Yeah, so now I'm printing them as well. So here actually x value I passed is 54321, and I'm adding 1 2 3 4 5 that, so I am getting actually 66666. Okay, so this is working fine, right? So method overloading is possible. Okay, now for example I have a void sum here, right? So let me test this. Actually void or not void sum, so whether method overloading is possible with return types, change in return types. So here I'm actually writing int sum equals to, let's say my behavior is same, but only thing what I'm doing, actually return type is different. So here it is void and it is int. So whether method overloading is possible, now let's check. So let me save this, go to the terminal and try to compile this, and you are going to get actually one compile time error. So what it says, method sum is already defined in class test into sum. So it is not allowing, actually it is saying already sum method is defined, so you cannot have another sum method. So whenever return types are only changed, okay, so whenever return types are only changed, method overloading is not possible. Okay, yeah, so that is the thing actually. So what we need to do is this thing we have to remove. Okay, so by changing the return type, method overloading is not possible. And let me actually tell you one more thing. So I told you whether we can have a method with the same name as main. Yes, right? So let me actually write one more method to overload this main method. So I'm saying public static void main, void main. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I can actually take anything. So integers I can take, double values I can take. For example, I am taking here some string actually. So now string string some message. Okay, some string message. Okay, so here what this main method will do is it actually prints that particular message. Whatever the message it takes now, that actually it will print system.out.println message. Okay, so now we have two main methods, but it is string array and it is normal string. So method overloading happened actually here. Okay, so now like how I am calling other methods, here what I am doing is I am calling this particular main also, right? After this I will call. So how to call that main? It is static method, right? It's a static method. Straight away I can call with the name. So because this main method is static, we don't require an object. So main, and pass certain message. What is message? You just pass hello world. You just say hello to the world. That's it. We are passing actually a string. So now when the program execution starts, the execution starts with the main method with string array args, not with this. JVM requires public static void main string array as a parameter to this main. So this has a string actually. This has string array. So the method overloading. So let's see actually command C and just go to terminal, clear everything, compile javac test.java. So you should not get any error. So there's no error. It's possible. And when you say java test and comfortably it executes, see you are getting hello world as well. So main method can also be overloaded. So in interviews, no, so these kind of questions will people ask you. So if you have if you don't have a proper concept, you will confuse. Of course later on you will think and you will convince yourself, but during the interview time, so usually people will have some tension because in a panel different kinds of people will be sitting and different questions will be posed, and somebody asks, so can main method be overloaded? So main method is publish static void main string array args. So then you will think and get into confusion. So that is the starting point of the program. Maybe this may not be overloaded or something like that, but it's not the case. As long as the number of arguments are different, as long as the types of arguments are different, as long as the order is different, method overloading is possible. Okay. Hope method overloading is clear. Now let me actually go to method overriding. Okay, so what is overriding? Method overriding. So this is another form of exhibiting the polymorphism in Java. This method overriding will happen whenever you have inheritance. That means there must be two classes actually. So yeah, here whenever we speak of method overriding, so there must be at least two classes. So here class A and class B, and in class A you have a method and class B acquires that method, but this class B can actually redefine the behavior defined by the class A. See, we know inheritance, right? In inheritance, all the non-private members are inherited to child class. Now what child class can do is, a child class can redefine the behavior of a method which is acquired from its parent. Okay, so it can redefine all the methods if it is interested in, otherwise any method. Okay, if that happens, then it is called actually overriding. Okay, so to define properly, overriding is a mechanism wherein a subclass redefines the behaviors provided by parent class or superclass, because I'm mentioning subclass, so superclass. A subclass redefines the behaviors or implementations of a superclass. Then that is method overriding. Okay, so whenever method overriding is happening, so now actually we have annotations in Java. So we have actually an annotation called override. So whenever overriding is happening, you can actually say override annotation, so that compiler will understand that this method actually is overriding some parents class method. Okay, yeah, so this will happen whenever inheritance is there. So inheritance plus polymorphism combination is overriding. So in order to happen overriding, you require at least two classes. For method overloading, one class is enough. That is a major difference. Okay, the second difference actually is in method overloading, the parameters must be different. That means the signature, method signature should be different. Whereas in method overriding, you are acquiring a method and that method definition only you are changing. So that means you are redefining the method behavior, but signature must be same. In overriding, the signature of the method must be same. In method overloading must be different actually. Okay, so now let me go to one example and tell you. So what is method overriding? So method overriding is a mechanism wherein a subclass redefines the behavior or implementation of a method which is inherited from its superclass. Okay, and this overriding may lead to runtime polymorphism. Sometimes it may lead to runtime polymorphism, which happen through dynamic binding. Okay, so let me actually tell you the example. So here I have a class employee. If you are following my previous questions, this example I have taken in inheritance. So if you have, we have a class employee here, e-number, name, basic pay, and organization over there. And I have set employee method, which is setting these values, cal salary and get employee, right? So here cal salary will calculate the salary of an employee based on the basic pay. So some 55% of allowances we are adding to the basic pay. And get employee will get me all the employee details. Okay, so this is my base class, parent class or super class, right? Now I have a child class, public class technical employee is an employee, right? So technical employee extends employee. Whenever it extends employee, so all these members are available to technical employee. And this child class can have its own features, so it has bonus, and to print the bonus we have a get bonus method. This is the child specific method and this is child specific property. Now what actually happening is, yeah, so this cal salary method is inherited, okay, by this technical employee from employee, but this cal salary calculates the salary based on the basic pay with 55%. But this technical employee has some bonus, right? So in the salary, bonus also has to be added. So the definition of the cal salary for this employee will not be same as for this particular technical employee. So this is redefining. So whatever we are doing now, here this is actually redefining the parent class method. So this same cal salary method is there in parent class, but its behavior is different. And here the behavior is different. Here different because we have added bonus over here. So this is called overriding. So cal salary is a overridden method. So that's why I'm actually making a trait override. Okay. So in the same fashion, what I can actually do is this get employee also I can override. So how I can do that actually? So this is the get employee method of employee class. Now what I'm doing is I can actually use the same method without any overriding, but now actually I'm overriding. So whenever we override, we can actually have a override annotation used. So this helps actually, so that any spelling mistakes are there in this method, then my compiler actually tells me you are not actually overriding. So I will show you during the compilation and execution. So here what I'm doing is I'm overriding this get employee also. Why I have to override? Because now this technical employee is also having some other attribute called bonus, and I want to print that bonus. Okay, so plus and some space, and I am saying bonus. Okay, so now whenever I say e1 dot get employee, now I will get the bonus also. Okay, so the get employee behavior I have redefined. Right, earlier it is printing only 4 properties, now it will print 5 properties. So two methods, cal salary and get employee, have been overridden. Okay, so this is actually overriding. So now let me, yeah, so let me compile this and execute here. Yeah, so first what I have to do is java c employee.java. So let me actually compile that one. Compiled successfully, that is not a executable class. So java c tech emp dot java. This is an executable class, compiled successfully, so I can execute this tech emp. Then see, salary got printed and the bonus also got printed, and separately get bonus is there. Get bonus is actually get printed, right? So salary, salary, overridden get employee details, both are actually getting printed actually. So this is how overriding will happen. So overriding is one of the features for exhibiting polymorphism in Java. Overriding happens whenever there exists inheritance and whenever a child class redefines the behavior of the parent class, overriding takes place. Okay, so now let me tell you about this override annotation also. For example, here void get employee, I have made e small. Okay, I am, this is a spelling mistake. So by overlook, what I did is instead of keeping e capital, I have made it small. Okay, so actually the employee, the method is e capital, right? but I'm thinking I'm overriding the same method only, but by mistake actually I made it small e. So now the use of this override you will understand, right? So, and also I'm saying I am overriding that method. Okay, now what compiler will say? Let's see. Java C compile.java. Now you have an error. Method does not override or implement a method. See, since I am using this override annotation, it is actually telling me method does not override or implement a method from a super type. So you are saying you are overriding. In fact, you are not overriding because the method name is get employee where E is capital. Okay, this is how it helps. Okay, this is how it helps. Okay, so for example, if this is not there, save. Okay, but you are thinking you are overriding only, right? Now compiler will not give any error. Compiler treats this as some child specific method. But as a programmer, what you are thinking you are overriding. But this is compiler treats this as a child specific method because there was a spelling mistake. This is some method and that is some other method. Okay, so now when you say e1.getEmployee, your parent class behavior will get exhibited, but not this, right? Yeah, that's why you need to, whenever you are overriding, better actually use annotation. So if any spelling mistakes are there, they will be known at the compile time itself. Okay, yeah, so let me compile this and show you that it is working fine now. Java C techemp.java worked fine. So then Java Tech Employee, and we are able to get the outcomes properly. Okay, so this is about polymorphism in Java that happens through methods only, and method overloading and method overriding are the features to implement polymorphism in Java. Hope you have understood polymorphism clearly. If you have understood without any doubt, so please like my videos, share to your friends and colleagues, and subscribe to my channel so that you will actually get few more videos of this kind. Thank you. Thanks for watching.